What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another The Morning After. This one is going to focus on the last night's episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. First off, I do want to apologize. I didn't make a video on The Walking Dead episode 2 of season 7. This past weekend I was occupied, and I'm actually going to keep this one short, and I'm not going to appear in this video at all. It's just going to be all stills, because I had another situation right when I was about to begin filming tonight, and it's kept me up. It's 1 o'clock in the morning right now, and I really need to make this short and sweet. So to make it easier on myself, I'm just going to have these stills. I'm not going to be in this video, but let's get right into it. Last night's episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had many things going on to move the plot forward. However, the biggest thing going on was the origin story of Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes. So in this video, that's what we're going to focus on, talking about that. Now, I'm not a whole lot familiar with Robbie Reyes, the comic book version. I have a vague understanding of that character. He is relatively new. I've discussed this before in a prior video, but he is a relatively new character. I believe he was created in 2014 in the comic books. So this version of Robbie Reyes, this origin story is, I can't say is exactly the comic book version, because again, it's just a fuzzy memory in my head. I'd have to check that for you, and I can if you guys want me to. But let's just talk about this MCU Marvel TV version. So all we knew is that there was some sort of deal with the devil, and going into it, we really didn't know exactly what that was going to be. Come to find out, in this situation, Robbie is explaining to Gabriel, his brother, and to Daisy, while they're locked into their containment unit, hiding from Jeffrey Mace, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., because he's looking for them on the aircraft. And this is where Robbie is just trying to stop lying to his brother about what happened and what he's doing in the evening. So we flash back, and I love that it says back in the day instead of a specific time period. So it could have been a year ago or something like that. But back in the day, flashback, and we see Robbie about to get into his uncle's car, and he's claiming, there's a lot that his uncle does, but he's not able to ever enjoy the finer things in life, like his really nice car. And he's trying to convince Gabriel to go with him to have a good time, because Gabriel's a hard studying student, straight A's and so on, while Robbie is a high school dropout. So he does convince Gabriel to go with them, and he's going with them to go to a car race. So Robbie had raced this guy, some guy prior, but this guy wasn't just anybody. He had good money, but he was a part of the Fifth Street gang, or Fifth Street Crazies or something. I forget the exact name of this gang, but they are a gang, and Gabriel knows this, and it's fully acknowledged. But Robbie's been able to beat this guy soundly with his uncle's car and make a lot of money off of him. So as they are on their way to this next race, and they're just laughing and having a good time, members of this Fifth Street gang pull up to Robbie, and they surround the car, throw a Molotov at him, and they're trying to escape. In that escape, we see another car pull up, and they just take out probably Uzis or whatever automatic guns, and just unload on both Robbie and Gabriel. And this is where we get to see exactly what that 9 o'clock time slot, or at least it's 9 o'clock for me, 10 o'clock on East Coast, time slot is doing for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I said this before in the first episode, that they had the guns, and they had the blood and the violence, and all the fire, people being burned to death. And in this episode, Robbie and Gabriel are being shot directly with bullets, with blood coming out of their chests. This is something they couldn't do in the previous seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because it was just too violent for that early time slot. So they're really taking advantage of that. But back to the origin. Gabriel was present for all of this. Obviously, he was in the car. The car tumbled over, and Robbie was flung from out of the car, and he indeed died. Gabriel thought he was dead, but then he saw some mysterious person approach Robbie, and he touched him. He saw, oh no, he's fine. So that's what Gabriel's understanding of the whole situation is. It comes to find out that Robbie admits that he actually did die, and that that's not the full story. What is really interesting here is this guy, this good Samaritan, this person that came by to touch Robbie and revived him, was not only a significant character, but it was actually the real Ghost Rider. And I would say the real one, and I'm going to refer to Johnny Blaze, because he is the original, for the most part, original Ghost Rider. There are only, in the comic books, 3 Ghost Riders, unless we're going to count the Phantom Rider as the original, but we're going to go with Johnny Blaze as the original Ghost Rider. Then there was Danny Ketch, who was the second Ghost Rider, very popular in the 90s. And in fact, the Ghost Rider that most people are associate with the powers and all of that when they think of Ghost Rider, they actually think of the Danny Ketch, the second version Ghost Rider. The first Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze, originally he only had super strength and durability and some basic things. It was basically really cool. But it was Danny Ketch that really revolutionized the character, that had the pin and stare, that had the chains and so on. And then when Johnny Blaze came back, they added all of that to Johnny Blaze as if he could do it the whole time. But it's really Danny Ketch. But again, this Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider was given his powers from what looks to be Johnny Blaze on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's really interesting as well. If you think about it this way, Marvel's fully acknowledging right now that Ghost Rider existed prior to Robbie Reyes. That Robbie Reyes is not the first Ghost Rider in the MCU. So that is actually opening the door for a whole lot to come, or at least allowing for more to come. Because now you're saying there's at least 2 Ghost Riders in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there could be a future Ghost Rider movie featuring Johnny Blaze. There could be future appearances of Johnny Blaze in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. There could be a Netflix exclusive series of Johnny Blaze. We don't really know, but right now Marvel is fully acknowledging that there are at least 2 Ghost Riders in their cinematic universe, and that Robbie Reyes is not the first one. So that's really exciting, because if anyone remembers the Ghost Rider movies of Johnny or Nicolas Cage and how not good they were, we all really want to see Johnny Blaze. Johnny Blaze is the most recognized and favored Ghost Rider, and that's the one that we all want. And though I am very pleased with Robbie Reyes, and I really enjoy seeing him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and seeing that character fleshed out, everybody wants to see Johnny Blaze on a motorcycle and in flaming chains and so on. Going back, let's go real quick back to this Robbie Reyes. So again, Ghost Rider, the Johnny Blaze is giving him his powers. It's worth noting that that's not how Johnny Blaze nor Danny Ketch received their powers. They got them from another demon. The powers of Ghost Rider are from an actual demon. They're not from Ghost Riders passing them down. And that's why Robbie Reyes in the comic books is not even considered to be a true Ghost Rider. He has encountered Johnny Blaze in the comic books before, but I'm not going to get into too much detail, because again, my mind is really foggy on those details right now. But this MCU version is getting his powers directly from Johnny Blaze. Again, all that stuff's really cool. That is his origin. That is what happened. He died. He came back, and Gabriel didn't see all of that. He didn't know all of that. But now that we know all of this, how do you guys feel about the origin? I also thought later in the episode, not too much later, but we get to see exactly how strong Ghost Rider is. They're in his containment cell, the containment unit, and Jeffrey Mace, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., they find him and they have him there, but Robbie does not want to be stuck in that containment container, and he busts out. And we all know who has already been in that container. There's been a number of characters, including Lash, who's incredibly powerful, and it held Lash, and Lash was not able to do anything to this container. And we see Ghost Rider get in there and bust it open instantly, like easily, I should say. And that is pretty amazing if you want to compare. I can't recall off the top of my head if Hive was in there. I believe Hive was in there, but again, Hive didn't bust out. Ghost Rider did. And now you can see exactly how powerful Ghost Rider is. Yet, what's also amazing is Jeffrey Mace, the director, is taking him on directly. He went on and had a direct fight, a scuffle, and actually tossed around Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes a little bit. Now, sure, he ended up getting beat pretty well, but it wasn't a bad beating. He didn't bruise or bleed or anything terribly significant. He is an Inhuman. He is a fighter. If you guys don't remember, I did cover this in a previous video on Jeffrey Mace, the director. He is an Inhuman. He is a character from the comic books. In the comic books, he actually was Captain America for a time. There was that period between Captain America when he was frozen in ice during World War II, and that period afterward when he came out of ice and became an Avenger. That during the 1950s, there still was a Captain America, and that was Jeffrey Mace. Unfortunately, we're probably not gonna see Captain America as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., or in this case, Jeffrey Mace, that type of character, because they've made him an Inhuman. But that's why he's able to just go on and just fight Ghost Rider. He's not a regular person. He has super strength and durability. We don't know the extent of his Inhuman powers yet, but we do know that he is very strong and very tough. I'm going to wrap this video up here because it is a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. But let me know, you guys. Again, I'm sorry for it being this way. I normally like to show myself, but I need to make this a quick video. It is already 1:30 in the morning, and I still have to edit this. And again, apologize on The Walking Dead. I may try to do a follow-up video on episode 2 later in this week. That is just out there as a possibility. I might just save it for all next week. We'll see. There will be a review of Doctor Strange on Friday morning, because I'm going to go see it Thursday night. So you can expect a Friday morning review of Doctor Strange. And I will see you then if I don't stream on Twitch before then. But thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe to Blurdy here on YouTube.